Welcome back. This is Jubal and the Harp, part 3. And we wanted to compare AM to BC. As we have noticed, Jubal's birth might have happened between 500 and 600 AM, the latest. And the archaeological findings were dated 2800 BC and as far back as 3000 BC. So we're about to compare these dates. Adam was created in 1 AM. About what year did his creation take place? In the 17th century, creation date was a hot topic of the day. In fact, in the year 1650, James Ussher, a clergyman, proposed the date for creation. His date was 4004 BC. The 4 might compensate for some miscalculation of the Julian calendar. Now, many other scholars agreed with Ussher's date of 4004 BC. Now, how did Ussher arrive at this date? He arrived at the date 4004 BC after studying genealogy in the Bible, ancient Egyptian and Hebrew text, and analyzing how ancient calendars were calculated. He also studied the reigns of kings mentioned in the Bible and other historical records. Now let us get back to Jubal. Using the date 4004 BC for the creation date, if Jubal was born between 500 and 600 AM, his birth would be between 3500 and 3400 BC, approximately. Okay, well then, let's take a moment to look at our timeline. Below the timeline, we have some numbers. 4004 BC, 3000 BC, 2000 BC, and 1000 BC. Remember that in BC years, the higher the number, the earlier the dates. We have 2 arrows above the line. The green arrow is pointing to 3500 to 3400 BC, and that would be Jubal's birth date in estimate. The yellow arrow is pointing to 3000 to 2800 BC. Harp artifacts date, an estimate. Now, 3000 BC is 400 years later than the latest time of Jubal's birth date. Note that people in Jubal's days lived for almost 1,000 years. On this next slide, we have added an arrow. It is below the line, and it is showing 3150 BC. Why? History shows that Egypt was established about 3150 BC. We want to know if Jubal was born before Egypt was established. And we see that the arrow showing 3150 BC is later than the latest estimated date of Jubal's birth. Therefore, we know that Jubal might have still been alive when Egypt was established as a nation, and also during the dates assigned to the Harp findings. Okay, here we go with another little graphic, and this will help us to understand what we're talking about a little better. And I have moved Jubal's proposed birth date to 100 years earlier. Okay, so we are doing from 400 AM to 600 AM. 400 AM would be 3600 BC, thereabout. Now, then if he were born 100 years earlier, he would be 450 years old when Egypt was established as a nation, and 800 years old at the latest date assigned to the Harp artifacts. If he were born in 500 AM or 3500 BC, he would have been 350 years old at the establishment of Egypt as a nation, and 700 years old the day in 2800 BC. Now, if he were born 600 AM or 3400 BC, when Egypt was established, he would have been a mere 250 years old, a very young man. And for the date, the latest date assigned to the Harp artifacts, he would have been 600 years old. So, what conclusion can we arrive at? What's the grand finale? The grand finale of the research is that Jubal, the inventor of the harp mentioned in the Bible, must have been born during the first 1,000 years of creation. That's one. The second thing, Jubal must have been born before Egypt was established as a nation and might have still been alive for many years while Egypt was a nation. Therefore, one might conclude that the Egyptian harp was either identical to Jubal's harp or similar. The harp artifacts that were found might have been one that Jubal built, or even Jubal's own harp. How about that? Thanks for watching. That was the end of Jubal and the harp. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so, won't you? And please share.